Hi, I'm Joan with Lazy Girl Designs, and today I'd like to introduce you to the Lazy Angle ruler. The Lazy Angle block is composed of two pieces, A, the large part, and B, the small part. The Lazy Angle itself runs from the corner to the center of the side when sewn into your finished quilt project. There's a lot of versatility with this block, and I'll show you a few examples here. We're going to take two different fabric placements, swapping the A and B fabrics, and I'm going to show you two different designs using the same 8 blocks. So here we have 4 blocks with A in the blue and the white for B. This is going to be the center of a star design. And you can play with your fabric placement to really make the most of these designs. Here we go. And there's plenty of versatility in this design, or in this block. So here we have one star arrangement using 8 Lazy Angle blocks, simply by changing the fabric placement and rotating the Lazy Angle blocks, we get a very intricate star design. Now we can use this same set of blocks to make yet another design simply by rotating and relocating our pieces. So here if we take the same center 4 and rotate in this manner, and then simply move the remaining blocks over to the side, we get what looks like a pinwheel design, very familiar in the quilt industry. So there's a lot of versatility with the Lazy Angle block. Now, in addition to being able to build designs with Lazy Angle blocks, we can also use Lazy Angle blocks with companion blocks. Now, since we know that the Lazy Angle block has a seam that ends at the center side, we can match this block with anything else that has a side center seam, such as a 4-patch, or a square and a square, or a pinwheel design. So you can build more intricate looking designs simply by adding Lazy Angle blocks to blocks that we already know and love. Cutting using the Lazy Angle ruler is very simple. Cut the size strip you need based on the size block you want. So for a 4.5-inch unfinished block, we'll cut a 4.5-inch strip. Then we'll use the ruler to trim our strip so we have a good start. And it's a very efficient cut. This is all we're going to lose off of that strip. For the first cut, we have a squared edge to the strip, so we need an angled cut. We're going to find the 4.5-inch mark on the tool that matches what our fabric is doing. So here we've lined up 4.5 on the ruler with the edges of the 4.5-inch strip. And simply cut along the angled edge for our first 2 A pieces. We're working with a folded piece of fabric, so we have 2 mirror image A pieces at 4.5. Now we're going to follow the edge of the strip again and find the image on the tool, simply by rotating, that matches what the edge of our fabric is doing, and we're going to follow the marks at 4.5 on the square side of the tool to cut again for another A piece. And there's no waste from cut to cut because we can cut both shapes A and B on both edges of the ruler, working down our strip from cut to cut with no waste in between. Cutting for the B piece is similar to cutting for the A piece. We have a square edge to our fabric, so we're going to find this image on our ruler that relates to the B piece. So we're on the angled edge of the tool. Here's where we were for our first cut for the A, matching the 4.5 on the ruler with the 4.5-inch strip. For the B piece, we're going to follow this one line top to bottom on the ruler and simply move the ruler over until that matches the edge of our strip. So both the A and B pieces can be cut on each edge of the ruler, allowing for no waste from cut to cut. For our next B cut, we have an angled edge, so we need to flip the ruler over and find the image on the square edge of the tool that matches what our fabric is doing. So here we are at the 4.5 inch mark, matching the top edge, angled edge, and bottom edges of our fabric, and we're ready to cut for another B piece. And what's under the tool is our next identical B piece. This method allows us to cut all of the A and B pieces we need from any fabric combination. So if we have a quilt design which only needs A from one fabric and B from another, we can cut just the pieces we need without any waste from cut to cut. To piece the lazy angle block, we want to select a right facing A and a right facing B. Lay your pieces next to each other to ensure that they'll form a block when sewn together. Simply match their angle, layering the pieces right sides together. The 2 points at the bottom should overlap like a small bow tie. Then simply stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting at one end all the way down. And when you open your block, the top edges of your A and B pieces should meet, forming a perfect square. Additional B pieces can be added to an existing lazy angle block to create more interesting designs. For instance, we can add a B onto any edge, create a triangle block, or perhaps a diamond block. Simply identify which corner to cut off, and just as we use 3 edges of a strip to cut an A, we'll use 3 edges of a block to cut an A. Align the tool, cut off the corner we don't need, use the same piecing we've already learned, make sure that this will complete our block, align the B piece, stitch, and open for more interesting designs. Here we have a block design built of simple lazy angle units. So every pieced block in this quilt is a lazy angle block. So starting over on the edge, we have A, B, A, B, A, B, and A, B. So simply by changing our fabric locations and rotating the blocks from one way to another, we can build very interesting designs with the simplest of the lazy angle blocks. Okay, we can mix and match different size lazy angle blocks. On the edge here we have a 6-inch block, A and B, and next to that we've matched our lazy angle seam to the center seam of a 4-patch. We've simply combined 3-inch blocks with 3-inch lazy angle blocks, matching our lazy angle from corner to center and center to corner, and we get a very intricate looking design using the same thing we learned in 2 different sizes, 3-inch blocks and 6-inch blocks. And you can build designs using the blocks together in this manner. Here we have a beautiful 9-patch design made up of simple squares, lazy angle blocks, and a pinwheel in the center. So we started with 4 squares on the corner. In our lazy angle block, we started with an A, added on several B's, and just with our fabric placement, we've created this intricate looking design by matching our lazy angle to the seam of a pinwheel, and we create very interesting star points with very simple piecing. In the Fiesta quilt, we've added a simple folded corner to our basic lazy angle block. And again, our center seam matches our 4-patch in the middle. Playing with different colors and different size blocks create interesting block designs. The simplest of the lazy angle blocks can create very interesting block designs. Here we've used a single lazy angle block and simply worked with fabric placement and block rotation to create this interesting star design. Lazy angle blocks can also be combined with other traditional blocks such as the Flying Geese unit or Ohio Star. Here, all 3 have been combined to create a larger block design. Fabric placement makes the most of this very simple design, creating what looks like a woven ribbon weaving its way through the quilt. We've combined a 2-step lazy angle block with a simple square that has 2 folded corners on one end. You can also use a lazy angle block as the center for a traditional design such as a log cabin. Create an overall design combining lazy angle blocks and other traditional blocks for an overall pattern. Fabric placement makes the most of simple designs, combining a lazy angle and a pinwheel block to make intricate star designs. Make the most of a fun fabric collection by making simple star designs set off against a black background.